This is the one with perpetual stowaways.
Paranoid chaps in bald caps.
The world's tiniest zoo.
And niente denari here, you jealous.
It's called Carnival of Monsters.
Here we go. We're embarking on a voyage all through time and all through space,
countering Daleks, Talon, Ood, and the Cybertronic race.
Santarans look like taters, and Silurians all have wonky scales.
And the Doctor has a TARDIS, we're reviewing all his tales. Who back when? Reviewing all of who there is. Who back when?
Subscribe and rate on iTunes, please.
Episode by episode, we're trudging down this temporal road. Come join us on this odyssey. What other choice could there be than who back when?
Who Back When? Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode C066 of Who Back When, a Doctor Who podcast.
Or Doc Pass.
That's right. I am Ponkin, and with me in the Who Back When studio today is Nick. Hello, Nick.
Hey, Podcast Land, how you doing?
Today we are talking about Carnival of Monsters.
The first piloting of the TARDIS by the Third Doctor.
Exactly. The first sort of, I was about to say autonomous journey, but yeah, sort of. I mean, on his part. Oh, fuck it, you know what I'm talking about. Point is, I agree with you.
So this is the second episode of this season. Because
I believe so.
Three Doctors is the first episode.
Yes.
We might actually more charitably call this the actual launch of the season in earnest, whereas last week was more the anniversary special.
I think that's fair to say.
Grand.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Initial thoughts, feelings, or do you want to jump into a bite-sized chunk of who?
Great and tingling.
Great and tingling.
Yeah, well, you asked for a feeling. Yeah, loved it. Loved it.
Right.
Yeah. Time for us to synopsize,
clarify and summarize.
So take a view
and grab a brew
and listen to this overview, this free-for-all.
We like to call a bite-sized chunk of who. Bite-sized chunk of who.
Doc Hammer and Joe take the TARDIS out for the first spin in a long time without Time Lord control, and forgetting how the blasted thing works, the Doctor materializes them aboard the SS Bernice, which famously disappeared in 1926. And when a plesiosaurus makes a sudden appearance, it becomes clear to them that not all is as it seems.
Meanwhile, two interstellar carnies have just arrived on the planet Inter Minor with their so-called miniscope, containing a myriad of abducted beings miniaturized and living out an eternity in time loops within. Are the two stories connected? Watch and or listen to find out.
B-Scout over.
You are welcome.
Aren't you just?
Right. Where would you like to start, Ponkin?
I do have a question.
Do you?
I mean, if you're interested.
Why not? Well, let's just talk a little bit. So I listened to this last week.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit hazier, whereas you're very fresh. You've just finished.
I watched half of it yesterday and half of it just moments before you arrived.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to rely heavily on you and
sweet.
Our listeners because I'm pretty hungover and I've kind of forgotten some things. But I definitely feel good. I feel good.
Cool.
Not just now, but about this whole endeavour.
Okay.
So hit me with this question.
All right. So how would the Illustrated London News be delivered to a ship about to arrive in Bombay in 1926?
By a much smaller ship. It's like a paperboy, like on like a bicycle, on a pedalo, just doing laps of the Indian Ocean. He only gets paid like 50p per paper round.
Jimmy. There's always Jimmy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's a possibility of what's his face, the captain. Is he referred to as the captain?
No, he's lieutenant or something. As in the guy that actually...
The old chap.
Not... Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Because it's his...
Major.
The Major, yeah.
He's not...
It's possible that the Major has just left a 4-week-old newspaper lying around, but he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who would do that.
Oh, maybe he is. Maybe he isn't, I guess. But, yeah, was it... No, is it recent? I don't know. The copy that they received.
I mean, it's... Wait, what?
I mean, he's a jackass, so maybe he does leave like...
There's a Sudoku. He really wants to finish it.
No, he's making a scrapbook, and in there were some really juicy racist stories.
Oh.
So, like...
That does fit in quite well with this episode, or this serial.
Yeah, okay, let's get this
Shall we jump into this? Yeah, let's jump into the racism right away. Okay, let's do that.
So what did we have? We had Johnny Chinaman.
Yep. We have those grey-faced idiots.
Yep. But the one that really got to me as an Indian man is the Madrasis and
lazy
and
no work ethic.
The lazy. Oh, but they cook a good curry and stuff. It's like and I get it because man was he's sort of this colonial dickhead and they go into India and etc. So it's very consistent.
Yeah,
but
sure.
It was definitely cringy as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
And not that so in newer Who, when there's the historical anachronism of values, where there's there might be someone racist, like in Family of Blood, where people are racist to Martha. It's done as look how awful people used to be.
At the time, yes. In this case,
it's just like, yeah. I mean, we don't really have a big India viewership, so fuck them.
Well, I mean, even if that's what they were trying to do, just highlights the inequalities of the day or of 1926, then they're not doing a very good job of showing off the equality of, what is it, something minor into minor, which you could argue is sort of representative of the present, right? I mean, it's grey-faced idiots.
God.
Jesus.
Okay, I think that's the racism covered, but if anyone would like to cover it more, feel free to do that in your
Yeah. Totes.
So, I want to talk a little bit about the what are they called? What's their names?
The actual individuals.
No, not necessarily the individuals. The
aliens. The grey ones.
Grey ones.
They are interminorians, and there are two different kinds of interminorians.
Yes, so there are functionals.
Yeah, and officials. No, functionaries.
Functionaries and officials. And the functionaries, are they like... Because, again, I projected a lot into this that I don't think we get to know. But the functionaries seem to me like they were almost like some sort of genetically modified, made slave.
It's never explained in the serial, but according to TARDIS Wikia, it is then elaborated upon in prose form. So apparently there's a novel, I can't remember, I didn't write down the title, but there's a novel that returns to Intermina, and the idea was that one, like the ruling class, the upper class, I think they're referred to as, the separation between upper class and working class was so incredibly tangible that over time they developed different physiognomies.
Jesus.
And the functionaries are the working class. And in this one, the only thing that they say, that they sort of allude to, is that maybe there's a possibility of a revolution. Like,
they murder one,
they kill one of them in the beginning.
And I completely fucking forgot, because they don't come back to that motif at all.
Wait, why would they? Is that a huge item? I mean, does that seem decisive in any way in the description of this civilization?
When we started,
in brackets, yes.
When started watching this serial, I thought that would be the premise.
Yeah.
That essentially, at some point, there's going to be some description of revolution, or the Doctor's going to affect some revolution, or there'll be some sort of liberation.
100%.
And he just murdered that one dude, and then we basically don't see them again.
They do show up.
They occasionally, man a gun.
They man a gun until they just disappear, because they've been ordered to no longer man this gun.
What an incredibly interesting fucking plot that just wasn't at all touched.
I feel like we've had something like that on Classic Who before, haven't we?
Well, we're like a misdirect.
No. I mean, where we've had two civilizations, one is a working class, the other one is a ruling class. Have we not had that?
I mean, to be honest, it's all over.
Super familiar.
It's all over, and I mean,
maybe a New Who.
Definitely New Who, the Ood.
Oh yeah,
right.
Okay, yeah.
But there's lots of class and equity and all those. It's all over, and it's a really rich fucking place to base stories.
Just mine for narratives.
But nope. Just murder this one dude and then moving on.
Nope. Is it in any way, maybe I missed this, but do you think it's in any way alluded to that because there's going to be a shift in government, that maybe the, what would they call it again, the functionaries are going to be liberated to some degree?
Well, these lot have the Interminorians, or the executive class of Interminorians, are incredibly paranoid. Incredibly paranoid because they think. So here is the sort of the mechanisms that I picked out, or that sort of drive their paranoia.
Yeah.
One being that they seem to think that there's someone out there that is smarter than them or more advanced than them.
Who's constantly looking for an opportunity to invade and enslave them. And therefore, everyone could be a spy, including the two carnies.
And then the second one is that they've lived in a sort of almost like feudal Japan, where they lock down all borders for like a fucking 100 years. They've lived in that state, a closed off state, for ages, not interacting with any other species. And the current president is trying to change that.
Yes, exactly.
And bring in more influence.
Yeah, and exactly. He's trying to open the borders a little bit, and therefore there's paranoia among the other officials that, wait, hang on, is that going to jeopardize our authority, I guess? There's another level of paranoia. Germs They're
Germs.
afraid that everything might in some way carry germs that would infect and kill everyone, which is why they want to incinerate stuff and throw people off worlds.
Yeah.
No, they're
So-
super duper paranoid.
And as just sort of like a monster of the week, you know, or else, they were fucking wicked, right?
Oh.
They were brilliant. And they were
Yeah.
very full and there was a mythos there that was hinted at, you know, in the differences between them and their functionaries there, or whatever we call them. That was awesome. I really hope they return.
Well, they only return in prose form. Well, hitherto, I don't know.
Hitherto.
I mean, there are plenty of bald caps somewhere in a storage room at the BBC. I'm sure we could cobble together another episode. My first note is love the bald, sarcastic aliens.
Yeah.
Love them.
Love them. And wouldn't they? I mean, they'd be great as a new Who, as another, like...
I mean, you spice up their appearance a little bit. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's talk about the experience for a little bit.
Everyone has a bald cap.
Everyone has a bald cap, fine.
Yep.
I guess.
Yep.
Everyone looks like Milhouse's dad.
Yep.
Which again is perfectly fine.
Not a problem.
Why didn't, like, between takes or between, like, episodes, they just do a little bit of retouching? Like,
because two of them are, well, actually one of them in particular, around the eyes, he's got like a Donald Trump thing going on, where it's like just pinkish around the eyes and mouth, yeah. Because he clearly had a sandwich between takes.
Yeah, and a little cry, like crying into his cheese and onion sandwiches. I wanted to be Zorg. But yeah, why didn't they just retouch them?
Yeah, no, brilliant question. Answer? Don't know. No reason.
We ran out of the grey powder paint.
Dude, in 1972 to 1974, there was a grey powder paint shortage. The legendary grey powder, whatever.
Yeah, so that was bothersome.
Yeah. How did you feel about the functionaries' appearance?
Again, so now with the retrospective...
So same species, different branches.
That is super interesting.
It is super interesting, and I swear to God we've encountered this on Doctor Who before. Who Back When before. I cannot
but like
think of it.
the idea that like a difference in class would eventually change in some sort of evolutionary biology way. We've encountered that, or we've just encountered two people.
I mean, I think we've encountered that. What? Maybe I'll future punk this if I can think of it.
I mean, there was the evolutionary thing in what's that fucking? You know the one where the Gregor Samsers.
No,
that's different. The one where everyone turned.
Oh
into,
yeah. It was so recent. The mutants.
The mutants.
Yeah.
So that was an evolutionary thing, and there was a bit of a class thing in there.
Yeah, not what I'm thinking of. I can't... Hang on, I'm just scrubbing through our classic reviews on whobackwhen.com, just in case I can see it. Was there something in Colony and Space, maybe? No.
Not on like a change of physiology.
No, you're right.
Also, there was a different one with the weird little dude. What the fuck was he from?
Weird little dude.
There was a weird little dude, and there were different types of that weird little dude, and we're like, why is this one little?
Yes, that's the one! That is the one! Yes, they are the Guardians or something.
Yeah.
Holy smokeroonies, the guy who comes out of a little, like, shelf in the wall. Yes, oh my God. For the past half hour, Podcast Anna's been screaming at us. Hang on, I'm going to find it.
What is it, though?
Oh, what is it?
He's
What is
just
it?
like, we just couldn't work out why he was different to the other fucking dudes. Or whether there was like a...
I'm finding it. Hang on. That is exactly the one. There are three kinds of them. Like, there's a worker,
what's the name?
I know, I'm looking for them. There's a worker, a cleric, and something else. A soldier, maybe. Boom, found him.
There's the only type of people you need. Soldiers, clerics, and normos. What is it?
It is Colony in Space.
Oh, right. Okay, fair enough.
Right, so yeah, okay. So thank you, Vindex of Who Back When. You've saved the day yet again. It was Colony in Space where we encountered the Uxarians.
Uxarians.
Yeah, and there was the Uxarian Guardians, the Uxarian Priests, and the Uxarian Primitives. Bingo, bongo. I'm doing the victory dance.
It's glorious.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyway, that would have been really interesting to have gone more into that.
Yeah. Remind me, did we get into that in this one?
No.
Oh, okay, cool. Carry on.
And the Luma, what are they called? Lunars, Lumi.
The Carnies.
The Carnies, but they're called like their race.
Yeah, I can't remember. Lemurs.
The luminary lemurs.
Yeah, I mean we don't get to know anything about them either.
No.
So they look exactly like humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay, how do they turn up? Wait, through a garbage chute or something?
Yeah, I mean they're basic. They were aboard
space trash.
No, they're like They're not stowaways. They're just passengers aboard these ships. This is another thing that we don't.
How they get to the ship? Or
yeah,
whatever.
they fall out into the trash compactor where there's like Santa's factory, except where elves putting boxes onto a conveyor belt.
Yeah.
Every box looks the same, by the way.
It's all just full of Nutella.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they just hitched a ride. This is another thing that we don't find out about because it's part of the universe as such, or the galaxy anyway, that this takes place in.
Well, what really bothered me about that
There's clearly
entrance-
travel between planets.
Well, yeah, and that's perfectly fine. But what bothered me is that, so for a hyper-bureaucratic, hyper-paranoid set of executives, that there wasn't some sort of, like, boarding and or quarantine procedure where they could have, rather than, who are those fucking dudes? What is that? Like, why is everyone chatting around, standing around looking at each other when there should be processes in place?
Yeah, they do seem to have expected their arrival, right? It's like, oh yeah, so there are the aliens from that planet. There are the lemurs.
Well, no, yes and no, because then they have to go through the rigmarole of like, who are you? What do you do?
And they do some research, and they go, well, we've found out that you perform some ritual on every world that you travel to.
Yeah, I don't really.
What is this ritual? It's entertainment. Oh no, illegal. There is some preparation. There's also another thing, which I think is just a testament to budget constraints. I mean, everything does take place in 2 rooms.
Yeah.
So you could argue, I mean, how long a time period does this cover? Let's say it covers a day.
A day.
Yeah, it doesn't cover more than that, surely. But there is no, like, bathroom break. There's nothing. You are stuck in this room. And at one point, we see room number 2, through a window, they look at the lemurs and go like, oh, there are the aliens. They're probably plotting against us, yada, yada. Maybe that is quarantine.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, hey, dude, you just dropped into Santa's toy factory. Now stand in this one room we have.
Okay, fair enough. I'll bite.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Plus, in that room, they have that weird heat gun, right?
Yes.
So it seems as though, I mean, you know, welcome, gun.
Welcome, God. All right. What did you think about those two? So Vorg and Sheema?
Sherma?
Sherma.
I think Sherma.
Sherma.
I think Sherma.
That one dude is having, his head is exploding.
Just
right?
like you guys. I'm pretty sure it was Sherma.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, man.
I liked them. I liked him, though. I mean, he struck me very much like original, as in Star Trek, original series, Mudd.
Yes.
Fenton Mudd. They're very similar characters, like they're bobbing around space. One's a pirate, the other's a carny. Like there's an element of we're going to trick people, we're going to fool people. In fact, it starts and ends with him fooling people. There's just lots of comedy and slapstick.
Yeah.
She is like the embodiment of 70s BBC sexism.
Yeah.
Walking around in a leotard with little like ping pong balls on it or whatever it is constantly referred to as the beautiful assistant. And she's fun. She's got some like chutzpah. I like it.
Yeah, and she's always the one pointing out like, you know, something's wrong here, dude.
Yeah. I mean, she's the clever one. He is the fool in charge.
Yeah.
I really, really like her. Her name's Cheryl Hall. Cheryl Hall.
I'm impressed that you've yet to remark on her foxiness. She is a fox.
She is a stone cold fox.
Stone cold.
And I looked her up. I looked up everyone on the cast, including Cheryl Hall, who played, I can confirm, Sherna. This is copy-pasted from online. Sherna. She has previously appeared as Hot Dog Girl in Deep End. Wait for it.
What?
Wait for it. Pregnant Girl number 1 in Anyone for Sex. As Daphne in No Sex Please, We're British.
Are these carry-on films or something?
The No Sex Please, We're British is definitely a carry-on film.
Yeah.
And wait for it, as Maxine in Rent a Dick.
No.
I really, really tried to find screenshots.
So
I found none.
Are we saying that she was an adult actress?
I'm assuming that she was in. I've never seen a carry-on film. I've only heard of them.
Oh yeah, they're just bawdy.
Yeah.
So they're not. Then
I'm assuming there are lots of topless women and incredibly vulgar jokes by short, fat men.
Asian or topless woman is mostly always Barbara Windsor.
Okay.
And it's but not topless, just like, you know,
Oh.
and just all the double entendres.
Yeah, exactly.
All of them.
So I'm assuming that this... I mean, I don't think that she was an adult actress, but there was certainly a theme to her career.
Rent-A-Dick isn't a carry-on film.
I know. I assumed that, hence I was scouring the interwebs for screenshots. I couldn't find anything. It doesn't actually... It sounds like it might have been another carry-on film. But
Rent-A-Dick.
Rent-A-Dick.
That's going to be my new thing. Instead of suck it, Rent-A-Dick, man.
Rent-A-Dick.
Rent-A-Dick.
Rent-A-Dick. All in one word. Rent-A-Dick. It's like,
Rent-A-Dick.
I mean, it's the name that you would find on the van when it pulls up outside your house. Like, Rent-A-Dick, we're here, we had a 2 o'clock appointment. Anyway, so that was Cheryl Hall.
That was way better. I thought you were just going to tell me just like some other bullshit. Yeah, she was in Holby City.
No.
Rent-A-Dick.
Okay. What else have we got? So we have other people aboard the SS Bernice. And there were... since we're talking about other films and whatever that they've been in, I don't know if you would count this as trivia, but you have encountered this kind of, I would call it trivia, before, and you have gone, that is not trivia. Did you recognize Captain whatever his face is? Andrews? Is his name Andrews? The guy who takes...
the Major.
Yeah, the guy who takes Claire, the Major's daughter, for a walk around.
Oh, he's a
the ship.
lieutenant, I think.
Lieutenant? Okay.
Ian something or other. As in, that's the actor's name, isn't it?
Ian Don Martyr. He looked super duper familiar to me, and I just wrote down, I definitely have seen him in something else before. I don't know where from, but as in, I've seen him on Doctor Who before. He is a future companion.
Ooh.
Yeah. And not just that, he's been in other stuff as well.
Which Doctor?
Ooh.
4th?
I'm not sure. Hang on, we can look it up. Ian Don Martyr played companion Harry Sullivan in Doctor Who, from Robot to Terror of the Zygons. Let's find out when that is.
Baker.
Terror of the Zygons. You're right, 4th Doctor. Well done.
Boom.
Rent-A-Dick.
Rent-A-Dick. I cannot wait to say that to things, to people.
He returns as Harry Sullivan in The Android Invasion. He also wrote several books for the Target novelizations, including 2 published posthumously. He also played the minor role of Lieutenant John Andrews in the Doctor Who story Carnival of Monsters.
Fair.
Boom shakalak. I mean, future companion.
Very good. I'd also say lieutenant, but fair enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is lieutenant, is that
That's
American? I'm only doing it for our fans overseas. Okay.
Cool.
What else?
That is trivia. I'll give you that. That's trivia.
Thank
if
you.
you were like, yeah, he's got a cousin that once... that once walks past the Doctor Who set.
He owned a border collie. What was that border collie's name? Lassie. Okay, fair. What did you think of the rest of the SS Bernice chapter of this?
Good and then annoying.
Okay.
That's how I'm categorizing it. First fun, I was kind of weirdly we'd done this the wrong way around. In the previous classic Who, we did the Groundhog Day motif, which would have been way more applicable.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
It made no fucking sense in that episode, but it makes literally all the sense in this episode.
All of them, everyone.
Rent-A-Dick. But anyway, by that point, I'd sort of blown my load with that particular device,
Okay.
and I was bored.
Really?
Just the redoing the thing over and over again. I was like, shit, I've seen too many things recently using this.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's problematic with this serial or just my coincidence of having like the Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day, didn't we?
And I was like, shit, we're just going to go round and round this.
You know what? I liked it because that was something that we introduced in our review. It wasn't something that we actually found inside the episode, right?
No, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah. So in this case, I loved it because we haven't encountered this in Doctor Who, at least for a while. And I think it was done relatively well. They could have done so much more of it, though. I mean, we have the Doctor and Joe encountering, like, realizing, they're on a loop. And we also have the hint of Claire. Claire. We have a hint that Claire realizes that something's going on.
Sort of. But
when Joe goes like, don't you remember that you've been here? She just sort of, suddenly you realize there's fire behind those eyeballs. Just like, fuck, get me out of this hell.
What I'm more, I mean, and yes, I guess, and then actually, ultimately, that's what happens as well, right? But the thing that really bothered me is like, so Joe, you haven't learned to game this system.
That's my point. That's what I was getting at.
Really annoying.
Exactly.
Like to a point that where she, instead of saying, "Oh well, actually, I know loads of stuff about you. How would I know this about you if we hadn't already been here or whatever?" She was just
Not
like,
just that.
"Don't you remember?"
You know what? Not just that. After a while, she would know exactly at what point they turn what corner, right? And there's one scene where the doctor's just as dumb as Joe in this case.
Yeah.
Because they hide behind the same, whatever it is, like chest of drawers, twice.
There is a lot of crouching.
There's so much. There's board hiding. I believe we refer to it as on Who Back When. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But like they do it twice, and the second time around, it's not like, oh wait, hang on, we know how this is going to pan out. Just don't, or say something different. Like come up with a different alibi or whatever, like anything. But no, they're both surprised to find that they're going to be arrested again. It's like, fucking idiots.
Yeah. So that bit really did annoy me. The plesiosaur bit was sort of weird. I guess. That's okay.
Can we have a little bit more of that, please? Like, wait, we just had a fucking dinosaur show up.
Okay,
it's in the same habitat as the SS Bernice, by the way.
Of course, why not?
Why?
So let's talk about the circuits. Let's talk about the miniscope. Let's talk about the zoo bit. Both there's a narrative and both there's like a thing.
Yeah.
What did you think?
Okay, I liked all of it. Let's see, what was the order in which you said this? So the circuits, like when they're running around, they're troning inside of this jukebox. Loved it. Mm-hmm. Before we press record, you mentioned Planet of the Giants or Land of the Giants.
Land of the Giants.
Land of the Giants. So we've had the serial Planet of Giants, where they clearly just reuse the same props or the same ideas, just repurposed for Doctor Who. And we have the characters interacting with huge items. Like in Planet of Giants, is Ian's dangling his feet off a matchbox, and they see ants and whatever. And it's like, oh, awesome, cool stuff. Again, they could have done a little bit more of that. They could have been, the Doctor is inside a circuit board. Manipulate that circuit board, reprogram it or something. That could be pretty cool. Could use the Sonic to reprogram it maybe. But overall, I like it. We haven't had it in color either, so I mean on a shallow, on a very superficial level, enjoyed it.
I really liked it. I really liked the hints at the beginning with the Ogrons, and they were like, oh, they're used by a thing called the Daleks. The Cybermen get a little shout, all that. I really like that, well, for loads of reasons. First, that they had the dual narrative, and they kept it dual for a very long time.
Yeah.
Up until the end of the second episode, where he reaches in and gets the TARDIS before those two worlds
that's
interact,
episode 2, isn't it?
which is fantastic.
It is fantastic, but it does lead to some problems.
It leads to problems, but I like as the cliffhanger. I thought, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
and
it's beautiful.
The thing that sort of bothered me, I guess, about that. Well, no, actually, I really liked, or at least it hinted at, is for a small second, like, wow, are these people like way more powerful than the Daleks? And they just go like they just whack, like, because that's something, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then it turns out not. But still, that was a nice hint. I liked the miniscope, and what I'd like to have seen is more circuits. Like, I'd like to have seen them skipping through various worlds. So they SS Bernice, and then they'd have fucked off to this.
You want sort of the Westworld element.
Yeah.
Like, oh, now you're running through a desert landscape. Now you're on the moon. Now you're on. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would have been awesome. Maybe that would require a huge budget, and I guess
probably.
they didn't. I agree with you. It looked fantastic when the guy, Vorg? Is that his name? Vorg. He reaches in and he picks up the TARDIS. It looks amazing. Maybe less so when he's, for some reason, stabbing circuitry and Doc and Joe are just sort of jumping back and forth. But what really bothers me about this is that, does this mean that everything's just shrunken down, but it's actually in there? It's not, we're not talking about like the size of molecules. It's not on some weird quantum plane. It's actually just small in there and you can reach in and pick it up. There's a finite amount of space in there. And does that mean that there's like one floor that's just covered in water and there's a ship in there? The Doctor would be able to see everyone would be able to see the edge of this machine.
Yeah.
And also, this combined with the fact that when they fire the heat ray at it, everyone in there starts sweating. Like, it is all on the same plane. That means that when they take the machine, which they just like throw out of the rocket in the first place, there would have been the biggest effing earthquake in every one of those worlds. The SS Bernice would have sunken 1,000,000 times already.
Yeah.
Everyone in there would be dead.
Well, so there's that. There's a lot to unpick there.
But do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they're basically
the physics doesn't make loads of sense to me because
it's just a terrarium, is what I'm saying,
so
as opposed to it's microscopic.
It shrinks things or whatever. But then, how does it shrink things? Do things have their relative mass? What happens to all this? Is it Time Lordy?
No, I don't think so. The guy reaches in and grabs the TARDIS. I think
Also,
it literally
look,
just
see,
shrinks it down to
I think
X amount.
the more specific question that I had that was, it's like, how did you get these things? You seem like a bumblefuck. Like, how did you get...
Oh, but he won the machine from someone who was not a bumblefuck.
And they had done that. So again,
Yeah.
so that maybe that's either interesting or not interesting, I guess, depending on your bent. But that's a cool line of inquiry. Who has the relative power to capture Cybermen?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Or the SS Bernice and some of the Indian Ocean, for that matter.
Yeah. I'm a dinosaur. It's huge.
Okay, so a couple of things.
Okay.
The they call them Tellurians.
Yeah. Wait.
Vor calls
Earth.
the humans.
Earthlings, yeah.
So the SS Bernice.
What are we now?
And, Tellurian. The thing is that when he thinks, oh yeah, he's a Tellurian, he's a thing, he's like me, and then he starts talking in Tellurian, which is whatever fucking gobbledygook,
He starts talking in Tellurian Carnival language.
Okay, fine.
Specifically Carnival lingo.
No, but
which is
again,
great, by the way.
Which is a bit of a weird logical fuck for me, because so I had assumed that was just their word for people from Earth, not that Tellurians were actually a separate thing with their own language.
Oh, this explains it now, because I had a problem with this. I
Yeah.
thought this was like, oh wait, this is bullshit. Why do you have, Latin-based, why is there an Italian word in this sentence, for example? So, and I figured, this is bullshit, if that's from a different planet, but it's Earth Carnival lingo.
Yeah, I think that he's...
I think that's exactly, I think that's it. What he says, by the way, is, I've got it, this is from TARDIS Wikia, Parley the carny? Do you talk the Carnival language? Vada the bona palone. Look at the good-looking young girl.
Right.
Weird. And niente denari here, you jealous. So niente, nothing.
Yeah.
And denari.
No money here.
Yeah, no money to be made here, is the translation given on TARDIS Wikia. And my reaction was like, wait, but why would you have niente denari in some alien language? But no, it's human. That means... that
He's been there.
He's been there. He has. I mean, there is a little interlude where he says they look exactly like us, and they're a fascinating species because they open up a conversation on against the idea of everyone is unique in the universe. There's actually some form of uniformity, and which is a wonderful way to justify the fact that. You just slap some grey paint on someone and he's suddenly from a different galaxy.
Yeah.
Right? Or you just put someone in a colourful coat and all of a sudden he's an alien, but he's literally just a human being in a coat. It works in that regard. But it does mean that he went to Earth, he befriended people enough to learn their language, and then he kidnapped some of them.
Yeah.
Nice guy. Different alien. The Drashigs.
The worm...
The graboid thing.
Graboid... Yeah.
Does it not look amazing? When it first shoots up.
Oh. Yes, absolutely. Do you know what it really reminded me of? Old Godzilla films.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Like, in my head, I started writing the intro to this, and one of my things was, King Ghidorah's, as a Godzilla sort of throwback. Because it really reminded me of that, as a, scaled monster, but in the 70s. So yeah, they were cool. They were cool as fuck.
I loved them. I mean, it's just someone with a very elaborate sock on his arm, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
What do they eat?
Anything. Any meat.
Yeah, but where do they get any meat?
Oh, they're probably fed stuff inside this thing, right? Slowly but surely, the rest of the collection just diminishes because they eat shit. Or maybe they can live for centuries without eating anything.
Okay.
Maybe they eat each other. Maybe. Yeah. Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice that episode 2, only episode 2, has a different opening and closing theme song?
I did not.
It has, I'll pop it in here just for a soundbite. Episodes 1, 3, and 4 have the standards that we've heard for a while now. Here it is. And episode 2 has this one.
I did not notice this. That is some shit I did not notice.
Cool,
but
though,
when
right?
you replay it, fuck yeah. Why?
Yeah, it's all like I love it. I love it. But it's like they just experimented just for that one episode. Maybe people didn't respond well to it. They're just like, let's go back to the old one. Let's go back to the old one.
No one likes boyoyoings.
I love boyoyoings, and it does.
Shut up, Steve. No one likes boyoyoings. You're fired.
Well, I'm taking my springs with me.
I'll be back.
Steve went on to found the most successful mattress company in the UK.
And Sunkeys.
It is quite reminiscent of, I think anyway, parts of it are quite reminiscent of one of the themes used for the Fourth Doctor.
Okay.
So very possibly this is and maybe later on in Third Doctor era, I don't know. But it certainly, like, it sounds like later classic Who.
Yeah, it seems like they're laying down a lot of prep work for the next Doctor then.
Yeah, maybe so. Or just for future Doctor Who in general. So maybe we're going to see this going forward with Pertwee as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Go for it.
How do you feel about Jo?
She's great, but...
Is she?
Yeah, she's great, but she is...
What did she do?
Maybe lately she's become more and more... I don't want to say useless, but like she's just in the way.
She's quite infantilized.
Very much so. She can't grasp very basic concepts. She has to ask the Doctor. She's basically like this exposition
and then when
MacGuffin.
when she does get someone, yeah, it's like, that's right, Joe.
Yeah.
Come sit on my lap.
Yeah.
She does nothing for me in this serial.
I think she's good fun, but as a character, she is deteriorating. She was better in the beginning, I think.
I don't think you liked her in the beginning.
I know, but I'm just saying, relatively speaking, she's getting worse. How many serials have we had her now?
Quite a few.
Right? I've come to appreciate Jo. Lately, less so. Every now and then she says something that's completely stupid, and it's not her fault, it's the writer's fault.
Okay, I'll go a quick
Go for it, go for it.
sidebar to interrupt you. How does skeleton keys work? And do skeleton keys work then on all... Like... I think from what I remember or from what I understand of skeleton keys, is that one might, let's say in a hotel, have a set of locks that have some sort of...
They have something in common.
Something in common that one might make a skeleton key for all these things in this hotel.
Yeah, sure.
Not that it is some universal key that is in all locks everywhere.
Is it though in this serial?
Well, she was just like...
Doesn't she open the same door?
But she's like, if only we had a skeleton... Well, I've got one. It's like, well... Yeah, you got that one, but that doesn't mean it's going to open all the things in the SS Bernice or whatever.
I don't think that's what happens. I think you're right that is incredibly poorly written, but I don't think that's what happens. I think it's like, if only we had a skeleton key. Well, we have the actual key for this door, which I just pilfered.
Oh, okay.
I think so. I think she pickpocketed him, stole the actual key.
Okay.
And
I thought it was an extension of her escapology. Scapology.
Maybe.
She's like,
maybe
let me check my scapology utility belt.
Maybe she has the ability to turn any key into the one that she needs.
I want to be an X-Man too.
There's, on the subject of Jo, here's a quote from episode 3. She says, I thought the Time Lords never interfered. But hitherto every single adventure she's been on has been brought about because of Time Lord interference, has it not?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, Jo she's becoming more and more of an idiot, not for any fault of her own, but because the writers, every dumb thing that can be said, they just attribute it to her. Yeah. First time that we see the sonic screwdriver used as a weapon, I think.
Yes.
Wait, no, not the first time. We've had him, like, maybe blow up a Dalek.
Possibly, but this was like, incendiary device. It's just like, the fuck? When that would be a really useful setting in loads of ways.
Wait, isn't it that he sparks the gas that's emanating from, like, this marshlands where the graboids
That
live?
might be true.
I think that's it, because later on he tries it again, and he goes, like, there's not enough gas.
Yeah.
For a moment I was thinking, like, what, do you have to refuel is there not lighter fluid enough in your sonic screwdriver? Well, I think that's what he does.
Yeah, okay.
But then also he's constantly talking about, well, we need to, every creature has the right to live. Quick, burn these 3 graboids alive.
Everyone's got the right to live, as long as you're not fuck with me.
Speaking of the sonic screwdriver, there's a soundbite, episode 1, 1723. He says,
Sonic screwdriver?
No, that only works on electronic locks, Joe.
That changes.
That does change.
And he uses the sonic to manipulate non-electronic stuff like gas in this very same serial.
But doesn't work on wood.
No.
Wood, for some reason, doesn't respond to
Vibrations?
or anything sonorous.
No. I mean,
Tell that to your glockenspiel.
wait, a glockenspiel, isn't that with bells? Isn't that
No, glockenspiels are like a wooden xylophone.
xylophone? Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Neither
one of those two.
Made glockenspiel sounds.
Oh,
It's a really hard thing to imitate.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's the best thing. Okay. What did you think of that time when Captain Haribo handed a bald cap a cassette tape? And said, here, it's my mixtape from your main man, President, what's his face?
It's fire. Oh, when he just like found a laser. He's like, oh, I have a laser now.
Oh, yeah. And that then doesn't come into play.
That's really useful. Just now, just for this.
But does he use it?
Yeah, on something. On like a on a Jurassic or
I
whatever.
don't think so. I think he then grabs the massive heat cannon and
maybe.
uses that. I think the laser is just there to add some last-minute exposition to inform the audience that this guy knows how to kill shit because he was in a war at one point. But he has a weapon. He could use it. You could all of a sudden you could write in something like, well, what are the Interminorians?
Functionaries.
The
or the
officials, the
executives,
Interminorians. They could just suddenly try to kill them, and he goes, well, I don't think so, buddy, because I've got this weapon.
Rent a dick.
Right, exactly. Yeah, but then this thing just disappeared. You're right, I'd forgotten about that. Clearly, so did the BBC. Oh my god. He does have a fun line at one point. In episode 3, he says, this is 2230.
The generators were built by the old Eternity Perpetual Company. They're designed to last forever. That's why the company went bankrupt.
That is funny.
That is good, right?
Yeah,
I like that. All right, I only have 2 more things in my notes.
Give me those 2 things and let's hit the reviews.
Let's do that. Okay, so number 1, just a quick reference. I feel like there's an X-Files episode that is almost exactly like this. As in, exactly like the SS Bernice part of it. I think there's an X-Files episode, I need to Google this, where Mulder is stuck in a time loop aboard a ship that went into, I want to say the Bermuda Triangle or something. He's now stuck in this loop and he has to get out of it before he's going to be there forever. But it's another ship that, like a legendary ship that disappeared, like history books all say, we don't know what happened to it. It turns out in this case, Bermuda Triangle, in the case of Doctor Who, aliens, and it's stuck in a time loop. I'm pretty sure it's the exact same thing. I wonder if someone was inspired by this.
I have not watched enough X-Files to know, I'm afraid.
And I was a kid when I saw this, so I may be completely wrong. But yeah, anyway, so that was the first vibe I got. And very last note, when they return everything to their respective time period, including the SS Bernice, which history books say vanished without a trace in 1926, or at the very least...
It's not a fixed time period.
Yeah, but the complement of the ship had no effect on history post 1926.
Yeah, they're just madrassis, weren't they?
But doesn't this radically change history? I mean, what if Claire grew up to be like this horrifically sadistic despot? What if,
I am Claire.
what if one of them contracts some sort of disease?
Clearly.
What if they bring a disease? They've been in touch with a fucking plesiosaurus. There might be dino diseases aboard the ship. Maybe they now spread this across the world.
Now, I think the only conclusion we can possibly reach is that the entire complement of the ship had absolutely no lasting effect
on anything. They met no one. They interacted with no one.
Or they might have done, just no one gave a shit.
But
hey, I'm the Major. Who cares, mate? And then just move on.
I feel like there's going to be a ripple effect.
No, this is it.
All right, shall we rate this?
Let's.
And now it is time to rate this. Did we laugh or hate this? Bing bong, hey, la 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 la. Ratings.
I super enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the dual narrative, specifically the first half. I think it was well paced. The ending, whatever, and I could have done more with the Interminorians. I thought they were very interesting, very sarky, plotty, but ultimately flawed with their paranoia. I would love to see more of them.
Yeah.
The Doc and Joe, the Joe certainly was less of a thing for me, but the Doc seemed great, actually. And the circus aspect, it obviously could have been more developed, but you probably budget stuff. But otherwise, really enjoyed it. Hope they make some sort of revival. And I'm going to hit this with a 3.8.
Wow, nice. Okay, yeah, that's almost what I've given it as well. I agree with everything you've just said. I also think something that we didn't talk about that we normally bring up in our reviews is the actual duration of the serial. This was another 4-parter, and another testament to the fact that 4 parts is the optimal length of one of these, I think.
Isn't it, though?
Perfectly paced. We get lots of information. There's still obviously room for more, but what can you do? If you want something that works on tons and tons of levels and that literally exists on tons and tons of levels, then you are gonna have to neglect some aspects of them. And the stuff that we've missed, you could not physically cram into the serial unless you had another 2 episodes to it. So I love it. I'm giving this a 3.9.
Nice.
Boom, shakalak.
Hot damn.
Rent a dick!
Rent a dick.
Listener minis.
Right, so our first listener mini actually comes from Twitter and a companion Who podcast. Yeah, New to Who. At New to Who. So yeah,
hey guys,
definitely take them, give them a look. So I think the New to Who podcast is by Colin, Daniel, and Stephen, and I don't know which one of them have sent this in. So let's just say that as a collective, they say a clever, very postmodern Robert Holmes script poking fun at the conventions of Doctor Who and BBC bureaucracy that is cunningly disguised as a mere monster runaround. Ooh. A really early example of the series being meta is suffers from looking a bit cheap, but the heart is there. And as a rating, maybe 3.2?
Okay, yeah, I can dig it.
I did not know that was a thing, but I get that now, I think.
Wait, what was
the
thing?
BBC bureaucracy being lampooned, I assume, by the Interminorians. And I wonder if there was some sort of paranoia or risk-taking or risk aversion in the BBC hierarchy when it comes to Doctor Who.
Well, if sort of public knowledge is that there was even cause to send them up, then yeah, probably. Which is surprising to me. I would have assumed that at this point, 10 years into the show, they would have been super safe. Like, we're clearly onto a winner here, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But that's very interesting. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so the next one comes from OBX Pirates. Ahoy there. OBX Pirate says, this serial seemed a bit off to me when it opened up with a futuristic Amazon sorting facility getting ready for Christmas season with the same wrapped presents. Yeah. The 3-line supervisors / tribal members were incompetent idiots. Did they evolve from the Sensorites? But wait, all is good when you have Willy Wonka and his caring dancing assistant and a miniscope. Or was the crazy dressed man really Harry Mudd from Star Trek? Holy shit! Yes! Sorry, I got very excited there.
When people validate Leon, he gets really excited.
It happens very rarely. But when it does, holy smokes, do I appreciate it. OBX Pirate goes on, I liked the concept of the Doctor and Joe trapped in his zoo with other creatures and species. The story didn't really make sense given the fact that the people on the boat kept repeating everything as though they were in a time loop.
If the Doctor and Joe were just trapped like the others, since he did not keep reliving the same scene, nor should the boat people? I also grew tired watching the Doctor and Miss Grant walking around in the circuit board over the same props over and over and over. The episode seems more fitting for a Lost in Space episode with Dr. Smith, not our Doctor. Thankfully, this was only a 4-part serial. The story would have been more complete if the ship's crew did not live in a time loop. I also wanted to see the actual council and more about the reason behind a rebellion. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
For finally having received a new dematerializing unit from the Time Lords, he should have landed elsewhere. Overall, it's not a story I would pick in a bag of 100 if I knew I was going to be stranded in an island. 2.2.
Ooh.
I like to think that OBX Pirate thinks about being stranded on an island a lot because of his profession.
He's a pirate.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, OBX Pirates. That's kind of interesting. Do you not find? Contrasting views. Love it. Love it! The next one comes from Arthur Fuck's Sake.
Arthur Fuck's Sake.
Hello
the subject line reading Carnival of Monster Cogs.
Yep. Classic. Classic Fuck's Sake.
Arthur writes, loved this serial. It had everything. Time-based mystery, curious alien civilizations, interesting supporting characters, big monsters, and scheming villains. Sorry, I'm struggling there with Leon dancing.
Sorry, yeah. He goes on, I usually try not to watch more than one episode a day, but had to binge out as I was gripped and entertained throughout and couldn't wait to see what happened next.
Some of the effects were a little ropey, and although great effort was made to present us with a fantastically quirky and original alien culture, I still get the impression that their entire home planet consisted of nothing more than a holding bay, a warehouse, 3 officials, and a handful of underlings constantly on the verge of strike. Another controversial topic of this era.
Yeah. Good point. He goes on, I feel that the more successfully realized alien environments in Who are those that parody elements of our own culture, and it's this feature in particular that sets the program aside from other sci-fi.
The first episode ending is among one of the best, completely unexpected and highly effective. We're also treated briefly to the only appearance of a Cyberman in Pertwee's era.
Ooh. Oh my god. Great to see a wonderful performance by future Who companion and author Ian Marter, as well as other familiar faces from Heidi High and... is that how you pronounce it?
Heidi High, yeah.
Yeah, Heidi High. And Citizen Smith.
This was a cleverly written serial and possibly years ahead of its time, with the main focus on voyeurism as entertainment and reality TV.
Yeah. I'm unlikely to ever give a perfect score for anything unless it's a fit bird. Oh. Didn't see that one coming. But this serial is as good as it gets. 4.9.
Wow.
Wow. Not much wiggle room at this point. By the way, original potential title, is like working title for this, was Peep Show for this serial. Yeah. And it's actually name-checked in the serial. At one point, Joe says, like, I can't, so you're saying that this whole thing is just one big alien peep show? Something like that. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, next up.
Peter Zunich.
Hello,
What
Peter.
up, Peter? Peter writes, this is the one with a bunch of very interesting characters, all of whom have almost nothing interesting to do. It's got a plot to overthrow a government, climaxing with a revolution that never actually happens. The aliens and creatures are actually quite interesting, yet some never speak. Some simply stand around, and some are so close to being humans from Earth that one wonders why they weren't simply humans from Earth.
Yeah, good point. The makeup and costumes are standouts, and the set designs are beautiful too. Yet again, the curved, sloping alien planet we are treated to in the first 20 shots is never capitalized on in such detail again. The rewrites? Improvements? We could expand the whole revolution and discontented class subplot, yeah. Instead of just talking about it, we could have actually seen it. Another idea would be to see more environments within the miniscope and have them clash more. However, in this case, I don't think either of these would have been the best choice. The simplest answer here is the best one. They should have cut everything but the main plot and made this a straightforward 2-part story. See Peter Davison's The Awakening as a perfect analogous example.
The Groundhog Day phenomena is incredibly hard to pull off without becoming boring. In this venture, I actually feel that they were successful, and for that I really applaud this story. Ultimately, though, I have yet to watch the serial without nodding off at some point. Card of Monsters is certainly not the best thrill ride in the park.
Ooh.
2.1.
Holy smokes.
There are 2 camps forming.
Yeah, I know. This is really exciting. This is an emotional roller coaster. Let's see where we go from here. Peter, thank you so much for sending that in. Next up, we have Matthew Dennison. No. Matthew
Oh, no.
Dennison.
No, I insist. Matthew. I hope you enjoyed that.
Matthew writes, I remember not liking this story much when I first saw it. It felt slow and uneventful, and the cheap sets, bad alien costumes, and garish outfits made it look like late 80s Who at its worst.
But upon rewatching it, I rather enjoyed it. The idea of 2 parallel stories with the viewer initially not knowing how they join together is a good one, and the early scenes on the SS Bernice looks great, although this makes the later Inter-Minor sets look rather naff. The acting is good throughout, and the Drashigs don't look half as bad as I remembered, at least in their own environment. And I loved seeing future companion Ian Marter boxing with the Doctor. Plus, we get Robert Holmes' usual witty dialogue and the entertaining double act in the Vorg-Shermer-Calic-Oram pairings.
One problem I still have with it. Hasn't the Doctor changed history? Yes. Hasn't the Doctor changed history with the SS Bernice no longer missing?
No, we got that. We saw that.
He doesn't seem too concerned about it if he has. And based on the start of episode 1, I was expecting the Doctor to free the functionaries, but instead he just ignores them. In fact, all the intrigue on Inter-Minor goes nowhere.
All in all, it's far from being the best story ever, but the great script cast makes it an entertaining diversion. Although I would have expected the production team to try something a bit more ambitious for Pertwee's first proper trip in the TARDIS. I'll give it a 3 out of 5.
Ooh, okay.
What a
Nice
range.
one.
What a range.
I know. Oh, this is all over the place. It's like a ping pong game of my heart. Whatever. I'll workshop that later on.
What an analogy. Okay.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Next up, we have Kyle Rath.
Hey, Kyle.
Hello, Kyle.
Kyle writes, this serial is a wonderful adventure tale in which an aging vagabond with flouncy hair and a pronounced fashion sense arrives in a somewhat hostile alien environment with his young female companion to entertain and enlighten the local population, ultimately saving the day with a hand tool. Oh, that's very much Doctor, isn't it?
Yeah, I know exactly where this is going. He goes on, it also features the Doctor falling down a lot, Joe Grant being dismissed and ignored like an old stick in the mud, Ian Marter as a sailor again for the very first time, and some sexually aggressive slugs traipsing around the confines of a space TV.
By doing so much more with a significant amount of less homes and lets deliver, in my opinion, one of the strongest Third Doctor serials. The parallels between Vorg, Sherma, and the Doctor Joe, with the caricature of the big bad corporation of grey men attempting to control and direct what the people will be entertained by, is easily recognisable. Yet the story itself also works on a much simpler level. Time in relative dimensions, whether inner or outer space is apparent, has an infinite sandbox in which one can play. One must take the time to truly appreciate the analogy that is also expertly displayed for us simple functionaries.
There is so much that works in this serial that taking issue with problems such as makeup and production design kind of feels like a game of find the yarrow seed under the magum pod. Magum pod?
Yes. I concur.
Possibly amusing, yet ultimately fruitless. Sorry if I didn't get that reference. This is classic Doctor Who at its best, he says, and he gives it 4.2 out of 5.
Have we found the most divisive
I think we have.
serial
This is
ever?
amazing. And remind me, I have one bit of trivia that I completely forgot to mention that I just remembered.
Right.
Ladies and gents of Podcast Land, you can follow Kyle online. He is at Sinister Super Spy. That's super without any vowels. We have one more, I think. Just the one? Okay.
Just one.
This might be... This is going to be...
This the decider somehow?
This is, yeah. This is now like just de facto. This is the swing vote.
All right.
All right, here we go. Next up.
You about to get blessed.
Hello, Trenton.
Trenton writes, Carnival of Monsters was my first Pertwee story, seeing as it once was available on Netflix. I enjoyed it, but it seems the fandom has gone and underrated it. I don't see why that is so.
Sure, it's not on the level of other great Doctor Who stories from this season, but it's a gem nonetheless. I'm sure the cliffhanger from episode 1 caught everyone by surprise, and the Drashigs are well done, even though you can clearly tell they're models, especially when they get out of the miniscope.
The costumes are great in this serial, especially for the showman Vorg and his assistant Sherma. The colour is a stark contrast from the greys of the planet they are on, and the world's inhabitants are just quite ugly looking. Definitely alien here.
Robert Holmes once more delivers a great script with perfect moments such as the bits inside the miniscope in the realm of the Drashigs. And once more, Pertwee and Manning put on a great performance. Aside from being a complete colour example, as many colour tapes were lost in the 1980s, I can see why they chose this story for the 5 Faces of Doctor Who events on BBC Two in 1983.
Nice. Overall, I don't see why the story is underrated. I think it's pretty great. No, not one of Holmes' best, but still good nonetheless. 3.4 out of 5.
Wow. That settles it.
That's it.
Wait, what does that settle?
The
It's a good episode.
Yeah. Serial.
Serial. Oh, damn it. Bless you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Trenton, thank you very much for sending that in. Ladies and gents, follow him online if you aren't already. He is at Trenton Bless. That's Bless with 2 S's. I told you there was one tiny bit of trivia that I'd completely forgotten.
Hit me.
This is another actor reference. The guy who plays... Hang on. He plays the Interminorian who really wants to take over. Can't remember his name now. I'll find his name in a second. Calic. He is also the originator of Davros.
What?
He was credited as...
So that's not a Terry Nation thing?
No. He originated Davros, which I don't know how to interpret that. Does that mean that he was the first person to play Davros? Which he was. Or was he there, like, in the writer's room going, we need a dude who's half Dalek, half human. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
By the way, he is that dude. He is the first Davros. He's
Davros. Shit. Okay.
Which is insane.
That is insane.
By proxy. So, Terry Nation invented the Daleks. This guy invented Davros. Davros invented the Daleks. This guy invented Terry Nation.
Sold.
He has been in a tremendous amounts of episodes, and we've encountered him before. He was in The Seeds of Death, did some voice work. Ambassadors of Death. He was John Wakefield. Do you remember John Wakefield?
I do not. Ambassador's Death was a Ice Warriors.
No, Ambassadors of Death is the dudes who... Yeah, that's Seeds of Death. Ambassadors of Death are the dudes in astronaut outfits who, like, using radiation, destroy shit. They come to Earth and they're so incredibly irradiated that they can blow stuff up.
Cool.
Do you remember?
Not really.
It's great. He's also in Terror of the Autons as Rex Farrell.
Ooh.
Rex?
Yeah, Rex Farrell.
We definitely talked about a Rex. I remember talking about Rex. Carnival of Monsters, obviously. We're going to see him again we're going to hear him again. He does Dalek voices from now on. Frontier in Space, Planet of the Daleks, Death to the Daleks, Genesis of the Daleks, where he appears as Davros, and then Revenge of the Cybermen and Planet of Evil.
Well,
it's pretty cool.
To make a nice segue.
Yeah.
Frontier in Space is our next serial.
Oh my goodness!
So he's in the next classic.
Very exciting. Oh my goodness! Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Frontier in Space.
That means we get a Dalek episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
shit.
I'm super excited. I've been missing the Daleks. That's on the classic front. Before we have that one, we're going to have a New Who review, and it will be of Amy's Choice. We actually recorded that one just the other day. So yes. I can attest to that fact. That one is coming up. And that's it. In the meantime, people can follow you online, can they not, Nick?
They can, at Nicolele.
Like ukulele, but with Nick.
Exactly.
Sort of. Exactly, sort of. And you can follow me as well. I am @Ponkin. If you don't know how to spell that, ask a friend. Thank you very much for listening. You've been a lovely audience. Until the next time, rock on, be rad next to each other, and ciao.
Bye.
Kablamo! Did you enjoy the show? Then please do what the cosmos compels you to and spread the gospel of Who Back When. Tell your friends. Don't have any friends? No problemo. Tell some strangers. Like us on Facebook. That's facebook.com/Who Back When. All in one word. Are you on Google Plus? Then find us on Google Plus. That's plus Who Back When. And when you do, tell us why you're on Google Plus. Who Back When just got its very own Twitter account, no lie, so give us a follow. You guessed it, that's @WhoBackWhen, all in one word. Check us out on SoundCloud, vote us up on Reddit, listen to us on Stitcher, and head on over to our website, whobackwen.com, where you can leave a comment, submit a review of your own, and peruse our visual index of aliens, monsters, and more, which increases in kablamos with every episode. And lastly, give us a rating and review on iTunes. Not only would it make us super chuffed, and it really, really would, but as thanks, we will transmigrate your iTunes nom de plume into the credit list of trailers for fake Doctor Who audiobooks produced by Who Back When. Have a poke around our bonus episodes to make more sense of that. That's it. Rock on and be rad and excellent to each other. Catch your earballs in our next classic Who review, New Who review, or, still funny, Audio Who review. Ciao.
Who Back When?